This is the EGC 20k Age of Empires 4 tournament. The quarterfinals are on, the last 8 generals are battling it out. This time, it's set in sandstone. You're seeing it right. This is a battle that's taking place in the Middle East. 2 exciting civilizations face one another. My name's Anuki, but let's introduce the players. In the north, returning to lead the Blue Delhi Sultanate for a second time. Will glory find them this day? It's Lucifron. Their opponent is working for the enemy. Ooh, how dare they? Commanding the Red Abbasid dynasty. Settling in the south with a victory lead, it's TheViper. This is not a matchup you usually get, and I look forward to seeing this play out. If you are just joining us, you are here in the 3rd match between these 2 commanders. We are in the Hill and Dale zone, right next to the Aquatic zone and the Aztec zone. It's a turtley map, so it might be a slow start, but could be an explosive end. As a reminder, in the first match, Lucifron played Delhi Sultanate and were defeated by Viper's English. It was a brutal spamming of longbows that ultimately done it, if we summarize those events into a singular point. It was still a strong display, though, for Lucifron. Then, of course, in round 2, we had a usual helping of Boulder France Bay, which Lucifron started well, but then it all slipped off the waterfall and into a landslide. Oh, would you look at this entrance? It's been blocked off by the forest, and it could be a good thing, could later on be a bad thing, but I think for now, it's mostly a good thing. So this brings us to match 3. Delhi Sultanate versus Abbasid Dynasty. I call them the Berry Nations because they get bonuses for harvesting berries. So any map where you can turtle up seems to be pretty good for the Berry Nations because it's just an extra deposit that is safe to harvest. I feel as if the Delhi Sultanate have a stronger castle age, I guess a weaker feudal age when matched up against the Abbasid Dynasty. We've seen the Abbasid Dynasty take advantage of that free early siege tech in the feudal age to ram down opponents' bases quickly. But this is Hill and Dale, and quick is not in that map's vocabulary. Now, there's a lot to break down, as always, but I don't like to beat a badger numerous times, not after the last time. But I will point out something different, and I feel is impactful. We mentioned Lucifron had played Delhi Sultanate already in match 1, and that's like a little bit of a warm-up. Under normal circumstances, it might not be significant, but this is 3 weeks into the game's release. That's not a lot of time to get very familiar or acquainted with the nuances of many of the civilization basics. It's about finding that macro groove for building up fast. If you played like the StarCraft tutorials, where it's like, you know, build this by 5 minutes, and you play it once and you do however you do, but then you do it again and you do it a bit faster. It's like that. So, with a little bit of practice already had, we'll see how they get on. Now, these videos are not monetized, so I have to make my own adverts. Listen up whilst I try and sell you an idea. So what I'd like to do is Team Civilization Wars. I will have a world map, kind of like this you see on screen, hopefully. This is only an example. I kind of want the final result to be better, and the buildings will represent each civilization and what regions they control. Each region will also have its own map type. We want to go grand scale, featuring all 8 civilizations to find out who is the best. Each civilization will have their turn to say where they want to attack. Once a civilization has decided where to attack, it could be a 1v1 all the way up to a 4v4 or anything in between. It might even be 3 separate 1v1s, 6 different players in a best of 3 setup. Don't worry about the details, we got that. We will also be looking to make this work for commanders of all skill ranges, avoiding one-sided matchups for our viewing pleasure. Then record and broadcast the matches complete with neat animations and documentary style summaries, like it was something that actually happened. There will be more information on the Discord, but nothing is set in stone just yet. Get involved and help make this happen. There's plenty to discuss, rules to consider, and later on it'd be kind of cool to do some custom factions. Maybe We could even do some interesting modding when those tools are available to us. Feudal Age has arrived for the Viper, the economic wing. It's like a tarot card that reads, "You are playing the long game." So, oh, hang on, we have a scholar going to the sacred site. Lucifron also just reaches the Feudal Age with the Dome of Faith. I've heard that the Tower of Victory is actually bugged at the moment. It doesn't quite work. A scout is going to contest this sacred site, and there's nothing really that the scholar can do except wave their arms. 2 scouts versus a singular scout and a scholar. The Red Scouts have a sheep with them. Anyway, we're getting distracted. So get on down to discord.me/Ironcast and have a whale of time talking about the Civilization War idea. Enough of that advert. Let's do a different one. The EGC stands for the Elite Gaming Channel. There's no other place to find 2 scouts double teaming a scholar. He makes it inside the mosque. Nice and safe. The EGC has magnificent plans for Age of Empires 4. A little buddy tells me that they'll be doing weekly events. Damn, this would be a nice spot for an outpost. A beautiful sightseeing location. Anyway, if you want to get involved or just find more matches to watch outside of Ironcast, you can check the video description for all of the details. There's a second town center for the Viper. All very much expected. Lucifron is going to check out what the Viper has to offer at their settlement. It's not about finding what buildings they've got. It's more about discovering the landscape for future incursions into the Viper's territory. You got to know the land and all of its features, where the buildings are located, where the resources are, where they will expand into, and how the map generator has blessed the Viper with a forbidden wood-style forest ceiling jutsu. The freaking map generator perhaps playing favorites, but like I say, not necessarily something good. Archers defending the scholar this time as they capture the middle sacred site. And as I was saying, we've seen it before where your woodcutters chop a hole into the forest, opens up a new entrance, goes unnoticed. Next thing you know, you've got dead villagers that refuse to work no matter how hard you kick them. So important to keep your eyes on how many trees have felled. Another sacred site in progress. Archers at the ready. They'll quite easily dispatch any scouts. We have a horseman out on the field too. A second one arrives. Light cavalry is supposed to be good at dealing with archers, and whilst I would agree in a straight-up charge, they take damage without dealing any. Coupled with the scouts, though, they've got enough health to disperse the archers. There's a wolf working against them, even so, collecting a couple of kills in the process. And I think this will come down to who can reinforce this area. Archers are cheaper and faster to produce than horsemen, and then being cheaper also means you can bring in some spears to defend too, which is what Lucifron is doing. The horsemen and scouts on the run. Lucifron even attacking with their own scout against a new archer. But that won't end too well for them. The scholar unable to kite the horseman. Getting rid of the scholar is a good trade, stopping the sacred site gold from trickling in. The horseman meets their demise, and another scholar is under threat. This reminds me of those games where the NPC walks or runs at a slower speed than the player. Lucifron's militia is running around trying to deal with a Viper in the middle and the east. This is where mobility comes up trumps, and ethics about killing unarmed human beings goes in the grave, along with those human beings. Regardless, Lucifron is able to hold on to that central sacred site. We have farms going up at the second town center for the Viper. Lucifron is powered only by a single town center. Double blacksmiths, though, taking advantage that research costs nothing. Not currently upgrading anything, though, so not taking advantage of research costing nothing. You still have to buy the building, though, so there is that. You could be upgrading 4 things at once. Action back in the middle of the map. We've got horsemen grouping up with the archers. The archers trying to pick up the spearmen to allow the cavalry some breathing room, but the numbers don't lie. Lucifron is in charge here. This is one way to keep the pressure up. Send scholars to their death, dying for the cause. Bish bash bosh. The scout taking their time with this kill, savoring it. It might be the only kill they get. A squad of light cavalry building up speed, maneuvering to the front. Natural environmental gate of the Viper's base. We've seen this tactic quite a bit. It's like raiding the supply lines. As troops are running to the front lines, the cavalry swings around, takes on those troops, moving in column formation, tackling them as individuals rather than a collective group. But when the rallied troops form up together, that becomes a problem like here. Even when raiding, you gotta have the numbers, you can't just have the mobility. Central sacred site still in Lucifron's control, and the western one is also falling under their control with 2 spearmen defending the scholar. Viper looks desperate, but that's because the Castle Age is on their mind. They've got lots of food stockpiled up, over 1,800. Spending some of it to try and replenish the militia to keep on going. They've got a few gold away from starting the 3rd age. They just want to hold on long enough, even grabbing better pickaxes to mine gold faster. A few of the cavalry return back home, but it seems almost certain that Lucifron will hold the middle and western sacred site. The culture wing is in progress, helpful for reducing the cost of research technologies once you get that upgrade. Lucifron is actually already working towards their Castle Age landmark, the House of Learning being constructed at their front entrance. I'm not sure that's a good place for it. When will they learn? Well, perhaps when it's built. Interesting real-life story on that one, actually. I studied music at university, and it was a new building specially designed for creative arts. Only when they built it, they didn't listen to any of the sound professionals. As a result, when one of the music rooms was occupied by musicians, it made the whole building vibrate. What a marvelous idea to have this constant low rumble during an hour's lecture in the auditorium. Anyway, light cavalry raiding again. They've caught a bunch of berry pickers. They'll retreat towards the army. I know too many people in too many games who retreat in the direction of their spawn or base instead of the direction of help, especially in MOBA games. 2 of the light cavalry may escape with their lives. The Castle Age went up for Lucifron. The Viper really wanted to get there first, but now they are behind in every regard. They are gathering less goods, their currency is crashing, stock market prices dwindling, military power is that of a lemon, and the living conditions of everyday peasants rivals that of a septic tank. Lots of barracks, though, going down. That could be good. We could be seeing huge Viper military operations shortly. They're gathering to the east for Viper. Lucifron hasn't explored much past those sacred sites, so I suppose this is one advantage Viper has. They've got more map knowledge. That deer mill isn't too far away from the eastern sacred site. Wouldn't take too much to discover it, just a few steps. We now have the Castle Age for Viper with the culture wing. Nice little adobe next to the gold. That's rich living. And still seeing these individual horsemen. And actually, this is working. This sacred site hasn't been captured yet. Just keep on riding in, dislodging those scholars. A test of micro. Again, speed beats spearmen. I think a few ranged units are needed here on this site for Lucifron. Look at that. Oh, it's so frustrating. Whilst amazing Viper can do this, at what cost? There is a resource being used here, and that's your focus. Denying the gold accrued from the sacred site. Is it worth what Viper could have been doing instead. It's a question that truly cannot be answered. Regardless, they bought enough time for swords and shields to arrive. Damn it, I've run out of tea. Who sentenced me to death? So whilst Viper controls these areas, Lucifron is making advances through the forest gate. What did I tell ya? Now, thankfully, the town center is fully occupied. This one villager, little Aisha. No, I can still get wood. We only have over 500. My family needs wood. Well, you know, maybe she drew Lucifron back in. Maybe it's a good thing to do, but this is looking like a bad thing to do. With men-at-arms strolling through the streets, villagers won't be able to work, and they'll eat town center shots quite happily. Back at the entrance, this is war! I can hear the spring-elves firing in the distance. The Viper is outnumbered, but this is home territory. Maybe they can reinforce this fast enough. The answer, though, is appearing to be no. The villagers ordered to work again. Work, you fools! If we can create some kind of giant wooden battering ram that could demolish all of the invaders in one fell swoop, we might just survive. Lucifron dominating the lands just outside, and what a nifty place for a stealth forest too. Everything's working against Viper here. It's an uphill battle, ironically down a hill. Back at Lucifron's home, though, there's a great deal of food and wood harvesters. I think they are happy with the amount of shields that they've got, and they want to bolster their ranged capabilities, maintaining a healthy platoon composition. Burning action going on, depriving Viper of even more resources. Many villagers have migrated to the east to get their gold. Still some food here. Then in the west, Viper is looking to steal some berries from a wolf. Such an annoying beast to roam the land. Lucifron maintaining a containment. I think that's what this is, until they bring some siege equipment, which there was a spring out earlier. That was a Viper's spring out, though. Lucifron chasing away the recently assembled defensive force. They are going to fight this one out closer to the barracks. We can ascertain that there will be some more men-at-arms in training here. Lucifron's archers aren't too worrisome because of all the armor. There are a few blue reinforcements, but ultimately it seems that Viper will be able to bring more reinforcements and fight the might of Lucifron on the outside. But on the inside, it's a different matter. There's just these raiders at arms who are absorbing arrow shots from the town center and thwarting villagers from contributing to the nation's wealth. The Viper surely can't keep going. They cannot. The white flag is raised. The Abbasid dynasty has been defeated. Lucifron has conquered these lands, with the Delhi Sultanate claiming their first official victory. They need to keep winning in order to secure that semi-final spot. The Viper only needs one win. So, as always, I hope you've had a pleasant time. Let's go ahead and boot up the next game. I think it's around here on a floppy disk somewhere. Yeah, here it is. My name's Anuki. See you soon.